Thank you, Dele, and good morning, everyone. And taking a page from my diplomatic past, I'll just say all protocols observed. So I can't go through all the extremely prestigious gathering that we have here of donors, of laureates, and so on. So it is my honor to present to you Abdulhadi al-Khawajah. He's the Danish, Bahrainian human rights and political activist who has been fearlessly advocating for human rights and political freedom in Bahrain and across the Middle East and North Africa since the late 1970s. His family harassed and facing torture back home for his human rights advocacy as a university student in London, Abdulhadi was forced into exile until Denmark granted him political asylum in 1991. Then, together with other Bahraini and regional human rights defenders, Abdulhadi co-founded several prominent human rights organizations, such as the Bahrain Center for Human Rights in 2001 and the Gulf Center for Human Rights in 2011. These organizations were the first of their kind in the region. They helped ignite a powerful culture of peaceful resistance against authoritarian regimes and contributed to the political changes that took place in Bahrain when the new ruler came to power in 1999. Abdulhadi returned to Bahrain in 2001 under a general amnesty and resumed his peaceful struggle to promote human rights. He spoke out against the regime's human rights abuses and advocated for economic equity and an end to corruption in Bahrain, for which he was arrested several times. But in 2011, during the short-lived Bahrain chapter of the Arab Spring uprisings, Abdulhadi led several peaceful demonstrations demanding democratic reforms. He was arrested again in April 2011, right after he had publicly criticized the regime's brutal response to the anti-government protests in Bahrain. On that occasion, at least 15 masked men stormed into Abdulhadi's apartment and beat him until he lost consciousness. He was then taken into custody, tortured, and held incommunicado for several weeks. Despite the flimsy evidence against him and a lack of due process, Abdulhadi was convicted of participating in terrorism to overthrow the government, as well as spying for a foreign country, and sentenced to life imprisonment. Subjected to torture and deprived of adequate medical care for much of his 13 years in prison, Abdulhadi has resorted several times to hunger strikes. His health has significantly deteriorated, and he is in dire need of medical attention. Yet despite the violence and indignities to which he has been subjected for more than a decade, Abdulhadi remains committed to nonviolent protest and human rights advocacy. The repeated abuses that Abdulhadi has endured violate the human rights obligations the government itself consented to when it signed the UN Charter, the Universal Declaration of Human Rights, and the International Convention for Civil and Political Rights, the very ones for which Abdulhadi has been fighting. In the age of impunity, as we heard from Fareed Zakaria, it is past time for the government to act in accordance with its legal obligations and release all those who are wrongfully held.